there's one thing I know, Jez. It is that 6 is greater than 4. Oh, what do you know? We are live with Xbox 2 podcast. I'm your host, Randall Ford 19, the man with the million. And for those of you who don't know what the million is, because I've gotten that quite a bit recently, all it means is I have a million gamer score on the Xbox. That's
means
all.
You're a big nerd.
I'm a gigantic nerd, but I'm here with my co-host as always, the one and only Leak Master, Jez Corden of Windows Central. What's going on, man?
Leak Master sounds like I've got like intestinal problems or something. I'm pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm doing well. We're going to talk about a lot of cool things today, but I don't know if you saw, but I was on the Xbox dashboard, dude.
I didn't, but
you didn't.
I didn't. Why were you on the dashboard?
Because they ran an ad for the Xbox Daily Show, and I was part of Xbox Daily Show last year for hitting the million gamer score at E3. So there's 19 seconds into the ad, someone asked me, "This is your first time at E3," and then you see my face, and I'm like, "It feels like a dream." And I'm like on the dashboard in an ad for like 2 seconds. And I'm like, that is so cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Was that from when? That was from last year, right?
Yeah. That was from last year. Wasn't from this year.
Not going to be there this year at all, are you?
No, unfortunately not. I will not be at E3 this year. I will be covering the E3 though from my YouTube channel. So I plan on doing live reactions to pretty much all the conferences for the most part.
Cool.
But I'm gonna miss you, dude, because you're gonna be there. You're gonna be hanging out with Tim Dog, cosplaying as who knows what. Be the first in line to do a whole bunch of
Xbox Lizard, man. But yeah, I've got such a busy. I'm tired just thinking about how much work I've got to do next week. I've got so many BCDs behind closed doors things to do with the Xbox, and seeing a bunch of other devs and publishers as well. It's gonna be hard work. My God.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, because it's basically, even though it's a vacation for you, it's like a workcation because like you gotta talk to a lot of people.
It's not a vacation. It's not a vacation.
It would have been a vacation for me if I was going.
Yeah, for me, it's just hardcore paying for a week. But I am so excited for the new stuff. All about the games, man. I want to see them games.
You want to see them games, and we'll be talking about them games. So we'll be talking about, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about Xbox Scorpio hidden messages for possibly the price and date and the advertisements. That's going to be a topic. Our final thoughts on E3. Maybe Jez will get to leaking something. Maybe. Apparently nobody uses Xbox One backwards compatibility at all, and some other stuff that we ramble about. But before we get started, if you want to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, that would be fantastico. Super chat is always available, as well as donation link if you want to support the channel in the description below. And you know what? Why not share out the link to the podcast out there so we can spread the love of Rand and Jez to more people, right?
Yep. Do those things.
So, I know you've been busy. Have you gotten to actually play anything recently? Any video games, as they say?
I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online with Justin Roby from Xbox every morning on Mixer.com.
That's right. He does the morning Mixer. I watched him today, but you weren't there.
No, I wasn't there today because I had to go to town, but I should be there tomorrow, hopefully. I played Elder Scrolls Online when it first came out. It's very, very boring solo. It's a very boring, shallow game when you play it solo. But when you play it in a duo, It's a lot more fun, pretty much like all MMOs, I guess. And the Morrowind expansion just came out, so we've been checking that out a bit, and it's been a blast. You know, it's with when you play with a friend or a couple of friends and play it like an MMO. Elder Scrolls Online is a very good game, but when you try and play it solo, it just plays kind of like a bad Skyrim clone or something. But
Mm.
it's pretty awesome. But beyond, because of I was playing ESO, it made me want to play Dragon Age Inquisition again.
Really?
So I installed Dragon Age Inquisition on all the DLC, and I've been going back through Dragon Age Inquisition just whenever I get 5 minutes here and there. So that's pretty much all I've been playing recently. I did try Friday the 13th last Friday, funnily enough. Pretty fun game, broken as hell, but pretty fun. And that's about it. I've also got the culling installed, and I want to give that a go at some point this week if I get time.
A
What have you
Cullen.
been playing, Rob? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? That is a good question. I have been playing Last of Us on my PS4, Last of Us Remastered. Um, I played it quite a bit. Maybe I'm not even sure on the hours, but I think I'm still in the summer thing. I'm at a part where we just escaped from a town in a car, and the car got ambushed. That's where I left off. But like, this game is freaking awesome, dude. Uh, the voice acting is incredible. It just draws you right into that story. So I'm having a really good time with with the game, and I want to sit down in a chunk and just enjoy it. But like, so many things are going on, and it's really tough for me to get like multiple hours in a row to play a game these days. So hopefully I can play it maybe tonight and finish it sometime, so I can have a review up sometime the end of this week or maybe next week. But I'm really enjoying Last of Us. I did play What Remains of Edith Finch last night, though. Uh,
I don't know that game. What is that game?
that game is a masterpiece. It's out on PS4 and PC, and it is what they would call a walking simulator, but I would call a like first-person interactive adventure game, basically. But dude, my God, is everything about that game fantastic? It is a sad and depressing game because the game is about death and loss and this family and how tragic they are. But for a walking simulator, the stories that it tells from the different family members, it's so unique, dude. So
Is
unique.
that on? Is that on PlayStation then, or Xbox, or what?
Yeah, it's on PlayStation and it's on PC. So it's
Bitch.
so it's exclusive right now for PlayStation, but it could come to Xbox. Although the developers' games previously haven't come, but oh my God, is that game great? Um, I I think I gave it a 9.5. I was enthralled. It is short though; it's like an hour and a half long, and it's $20. So like I know people have that like, well, that's way too much money for such a short experience, but the experience is so fantastic that I was kind of blown away by the game actually, going in completely blind on it. But so
Sounds intriguing.
it is. It's very good. If you get the chance, I know. I think my poniness is starting to wear to transfer to you because you even talked about getting a PlayStation.
Well, it's like PlayStation has moved from the point where it's like it doesn't have any games I'm interested in to the point where it's like got a few games I'm interested in to the point where it's got a lot of games that I'm interested in, and that's where PlayStation is now for me. But I don't have any time still, so every time I think about getting a PlayStation, it's like, man, I barely have time to play my Xbox. Where am I going to fit in PlayStation right now?
Yeah,
So
I got a lot of games on Xbox, a lot of stuff I cover, and then I got all these PlayStation games, and it's like I barely have enough time to play anything. You can ask my friends. I don't get on till like late at night
yeah,
um, to play stuff, so
that's the
it's
deal. That's the deal.
it's tough.
Final Fantasy
Um,
12 might push me over though.
Ooh, good old Final Fantasy. So
Mm.
let's talk about Xbox backwards compatibility, because backwards compatibility seems like a big topic this week, doesn't it? Jim Ryan made some off-the-cuff remarks saying that it was a much requested feature, but nobody actually uses it, saying that it's kind of pointless, and why would anybody play ancient games, is what people said to him during a Gran Turismo event, right? And obviously
Yeah.
Microsoft disagrees vehemently. How can I speak? I saw a bunch of Xbox people saying that they disagree with that, and then Ars Technica ran a deep dive into some Xbox information, and they tracked 913,000 active gamer tags and found that only 1.5% of them actually used backwards compatibility. Now, I think Mikey Barr came out and said when you scrape for data off their servers, you get wrong information, so the information may not be correct. And there's people saying that, well, you can't really take 941,000 accounts to account for the entire user base of Xbox Live, but if you know statistics, if you do have a good enough and large enough and diverse enough sample size, you can estimate for an entire group.
Mm.
But
The thing is, I'm so skeptical about Ars Technica. I really like Ars Technica. I think they're a good website, but I'm so skeptical about their data, mainly because Microsoft is such a data-driven company, and Microsoft scrap things if they're not being used. They get scrapped. So if they are relentless with their scrapping, if something isn't going to use, it gets scrapped. And if backwards compatibility wasn't getting used and it wasn't Microsoft in some way, then it gets scrapped. And Microsoft have the best statisticians in the world. They have the best data harvesting engines in the world. So I am not impressed at all by Ars Technica's numbers whatsoever.
you're not impressed.
No, I
Well,
think
you see, here's the thing. I made a video about this yesterday, and I talked about it, and I think even if the number was 0.1%, they would still do it. Because backwards compatibility is a promise from Xbox to its consumers, not something they ever planned on benefiting financially from. Phil's talked about this idea of people investing in a digital library and buying all these games from the 360 gen, and it was only right as a company to honor that, honor those purchases and try to make them go forward. So even with the low number, and even if it's true or not, I think they would still do backwards compatibility, because it's a promise also going towards the future, like the promise that your Xbox One games will work on Xbox Scorpio and beyond. Whereas like Sony, the PS5 we know is probably coming in a couple years, but with their stance on back compat, are you sure that your purchases and your games are going to move forward with PlayStation? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Well, this is what I mean. There has to be some benefit for Microsoft, and Microsoft, they don't do. We think this is a benefit for our console. They only work on data. So if Microsoft has data that says backwards compatibility is some benefit for Xbox.
Uh-oh. I think Jez might have dropped out because he stopped talking. Maybe his mic went quiet. Anyways, I'll just keep talking then until Jez comes back. Google Hangouts is trash. Get back in here, Jez. Anyways, the data shows, and we don't know if their data is 100% accurate, but even if you take it as true, I think backwards compatibility was a long play. I think it's about making your current consumers feel safe about their purchases. It's this idea that you can play your past games, your current games, and they will all work on your future console. And that's why I've always looked at backwards compatibility from Xbox's perspective, that they were making a promise to their consumers that, hey, you can buy these digital games and don't worry, they'll play on our future systems. So like I never really thought much that uh, like the usage rate is low because I've never used it once. I have no plans on ever using any backwards compat stuff. But I'm a kind of different gamer. I played all the 360 games I want, but it's what I said in my video yesterday. And even if you never use backwards compatibility, it's good for it to be there because it's one of those situations where you would rather not need it and have it, right, than actually need it and not have it. Did I say that saying correctly? You would rather not have it or not. You know what saying I'm trying to say. Now I'm getting confused. Jazz isn't in here, and it's a solo podcast. Send Mooch an invite, and I need my co-host. But a lot of people I know, they don't use. Well, then again, my friends are all kind of gamer score, or at least gamer score addicts at one point. So we've played all the 360 games, but I can imagine a lot of people experiencing some of those games for the first time, whether it's Dead Space or whether it's Bioshock Infinite. There are some gems from that era that are completely awesome and should be experienced um, if you haven't already. Uh, so, oh, thank God Jazz is back. Jazz, save me.
Dude, fucking Google Hangouts is fucking shit.
Well, it is Google, so
Google suck. Every product that Google makes is garbage. Right, where were we?
All right, you were talking about backwards compatibility, and then you got booted.
Basically, I was just saying.
You were saying, okay, because you were saying, I don't know if you remember, but you were saying that Microsoft has the best statisticians in the world. They know people are using it because they would get rid of it if people weren't using it. That's basically where you left off.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, even if the numbers aren't big in terms of usage, even if that is true, there has to be some kind of benefit for Microsoft to keep doing it. If there's no benefit, then they wouldn't keep doing it. So whether they've got data saying people buy Xbox because of the perception it brings to the console or and that sort of thing, and also they're very sort of one of their big goals is to get more people from the 360 over to the new generation because there are still millions of people still on 360 and PS3 who haven't bothered to upgrade yet. Now, with more and more games like FIFA and Call of Duty no longer coming to the old generation of consoles, it's sort of getting to the point where the upgrading looks more and more attractive. And backwards compatibility could be like one of those things that helps push people over because it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to lose any of my games. I might as well go to Xbox, you know? So it's a tool for Microsoft. Even if Ars Technica is right and the stats say that not many people are using it, which I personally doubt, it's a good weapon in their arsenal to get people over to the new generation. That's what it's for, really, you know.
Yeah,
and I think it's short-sighted of Sony to suggest that it's not a compelling feature, you know, because people are attached to their game collections. I've still got on my 360 games, and about a good 2/3 of them are backwards compatible. So, you know, and they're adding more and more all the time.
I mean, obviously, Sony obviously know people want to play those games. I mean, they have a PS Now service that is basically there for streaming older games, and then they remaster a bunch of the games. So, I mean, their business model is to basically take games people want, remaster them, and then make people pay for the remaster, even though the remaster is usually a better product than the original. I mean, so when I read his comments, I more thought of it as like he was talking about PS1 games and PS2 games in comparison to PS4 games or whatever. But and like, why would anybody play these ancient games? But that's the whole argument that when a game gets old and like it's no longer good. Like, is Grand Theft Auto 3 a good game if you went back and played it right now? You know, considering like where the series has gone, and if you play Grand Theft Auto 5, and if you went back and played Grand Theft Auto 3, you'd be like, wow, this game looks terrible. Wow, the game controls terrible. Holy crap, right? But I mean, I think for the most part, the PS3 360 gen is very much akin to the current gen. I don't, games may look a little worse, but for the most part, the gameplay is still on key. But yeah, backwards compatibility. I don't know. I don't know why people complain. Like, it's a great feature to have, even if you never use it.
It
Like,
wouldn't even if PlayStation had it, it wouldn't even be controversial. It's controversial because PlayStation doesn't have it, and Microsoft. I've got a feeling that Microsoft are working on something special for backwards compatibility as well. Um, I've got these rumors about backwards compatibility emulator coming to the PC, Windows 10, as an app. I don't know if that will ever actually happen because of the licensing things, but apparently my sources have told me that the Xbox One backwards compatibility emulator does run on Windows 10.
whoa, does that mean what I think it could mean, basically?
Well, well, this is the intriguing thing about that is that just because it does run on Windows 10 doesn't necessarily mean that they will bring it to Windows 10 because of the licensing things and stuff like that. But what if when in the licensing agreement for backwards compatibility, they wrote it in there. Um, we want you to allow, if you join backwards compatibility, then you're accepting that we might one day put backwards compatibility on Windows 10 laptops and tablets and phones. Who knows? But that's something that they possibly could do. Apparently, it does work by pure virtue of the fact of UWP, and whether it's something that they do bring to PC, I don't know. But that could be something, and that sort of fits with Microsoft's MO, doesn't it? Play your games anywhere you want. It's your digital library. Play them on Xbox. Play them on PC. Play them wherever you want. That sort of fits with their mantra, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So who knows, man? Who knows?
Well, I mean,
It's like-
they
it's-
also
it's
they also
exciting.
seem to be filling out Game Pass with backwards compatibility games
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
also really cool.
And Game Pass is a great thing. I mean, I never use it because I basically own all the games. But $10 for 100 games, I'm sure you can find 5 or 6 that you would like to play. I just remember the days of going to Blockbuster Video Games and renting one game for $10 for 2 days, and now a mother or somebody could get a system for their child or something and be like, here's 100 games you can choose from, and they would be in heaven. But that's a topic for a different discussion. Um, you know what? There's this interesting thing. You know the game about the game Deformers, right?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Did you know they updated the game and now Xbox users can play with Steam users and PS4 users can play with Steam users?
I
But
didn't know that.
yeah, but it's weird because Xbox users can play with Steam users and PS4 users can play with Steam users, but there's like two separate. But PS4 and Xbox users can't play together in one big pile. And yet again, this is another. And I don't really like necessarily talking about Sony in this thing, but I saw this and it just. Why are Sony blocking this? And look, I know why Sony's blocking it because it doesn't benefit the company whatsoever. It doesn't benefit Sony at all to enable crossplay with everything. So they want to lock Microsoft out. Okay, whatever. Corporate strategy, I understand. But when one of your corporate slogans that people love to repeat, whether it's in this chat or other chats or whatever, is that Sony is hashtag for the players, and then they do stupid stuff like this where they clearly are not. I just question that, man. Like, why not open it up, and where are other people calling this out exactly? Because like
It's
what
hard for me to talk about this because I know this issue is going to be really, really
is this issue
hot
going to be
topic next week.
exacerbated soon enough?
Yeah, this is going to be a really big top crossplay for Xbox and PlayStation 4 is going to be a really hot topic from next week. And I can't talk about why, but it's going to be fun to see how people react to this.
Yeah, and you know what? I see people calling me out because Microsoft wouldn't allow this last gen. And yeah, it was bullshit last gen for Microsoft not to do it as well. Yeah. Like it's bullshit when anybody does it. Like that's not the point I'm trying to say it.
If Microsoft were ahead, they wouldn't be doing it either. The only reason Microsoft is saying we want cross plays because, you know, it removes that purchase argument that Sony have right now. Is my friend has a PlayStation, so I need to get a PlayStation 2 to play with him. Sony are never going to give that up. And anyone who expects Sony to give that up is ridiculous and lying to themselves. They're never going to give that up.
And so, it's like I said, I totally get it. Me and Jazz get it why Sony on a business level and a corporate strategy wouldn't allow that. The same way we understand why Microsoft didn't allow it last gen. And it was bullshit both times.
Yeah.
But it just seems weird reading that press release and they're like, Xbox users can play with Steam users and PS4 users can play with Steam users. It's like, wouldn't it be just so much more simple if everybody could just play with everybody? And then we wouldn't have this nonsense. But like Jazz said, I guess there's something happening next week which is really going to bring this issue to the forefront. So I'm kind of interested in seeing what that is. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it's a pro-consumer move. Whether it's just, I don't know, it's bullshit in my opinion. But what do you want to talk about next, Jazz? You want to talk about the Splinter Cell trademark thing that we talked about in DMs?
Yeah, let's talk about Splinter Cell.
So, Splinter Cell looks like it's coming back. It was trademarked recently. I've known people who play the game. I know it's real. At least it was real last year. I've always kind of speculated that it would be on Xbox's stage, but I'm starting to think it's not because I can't see Ubisoft being there with 2 games. So they're there with Assassin's Creed Origin, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw, Jez, the pre-order card leak for that today. For the title, yeah, I saw. I think it was ICXM tweeted out like an image of.
What is it?
It just says Assassin's Creed Origins pre-order now. You know, like
with Xbox on it.
I didn't look at the actual image like close up. I just kind of saw that there was a picture of it. But anyways, we know the game's real. We know the game's going to be on Xbox's stage. So now I think Splinter Cell will be at Ubisoft stage. Are you excited for the return of Splinter Cell? Looks like we're at that point now. They filed a new trademark for it. Rumors that our Michael Ironside is back. What do you think?
Honestly, I've never been a huge Splinter Cell fan personally. I played the original games on PS2, and I was too impatient for them when I was a kid. I thought the modern ones were too bland, too actiony, kind of they felt compromised, designed for a broad audience, I guess. But now that I'm a games writer and stuff, I suppose I'll have to take more of an interest in it. So I am intrigued to see whether is it going to be a reboot? Are they going to take it back to the roots of hardcore stealth? Or are they going to, because now that Jade Raymond has gone to EA, and you might remember that it was Jade Raymond who said, we need to make Splinter Cell appeal to a broader audience by dumbing down its gameplay, basically. And she's gone now. She's gone to EA. And I kind of feel like Ubisoft might be willing to turn it into a proper, hardcore stealth game again. But who knows?
I'm excited for. I love Splinter Cell. I just hope they don't turn it into an open world game.
It'd be too much like Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed, then.
Yeah, I just want it to be a great single player, laser focused, great level design, and then have the awesome Spies vs. Merc multiplayer mode where you can have your games as a service stuff. But like, I need that single player. I want my Splinter Cell. I needs it. So do you agree with me? Do you think it'll be on Ubisoft stage and not necessarily at Xbox's?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think honestly, I don't know. It could go either way, couldn't it? I think Assassin's Creed
Do you
is
really
sometime.
seen Ubisoft having 2 games on Xbox's stage though? I don't know if
I don't think they'd have both, no, because they've
yeah,
still got their own conference to fill up.
that's right.
I mean, they could have like a little, really brief thing, and then show the gameplay at the Ubisoft's thing. But isn't Ubisoft's conference and Microsoft's conference quite close together?
No. So you got EA's, I think Sunday afternoon. Then you have Microsoft's. Well, I think EA's is like noon. Microsoft's is like 2 p.m. Pacific. Bethesda's is like 8 p.m. Pacific. And then Monday it's Ubisoft's and PlayStation's. So they're different days apart.
Right.
But yeah, so let's hit this Scorpio stuff, shall we? There's there's going to be a lot to talk about. So they released some teaser ads for the Xbox press conference on, what is that, Sunday, like I said? And the tagline is, what is it? Feel true power, is it, right?
Yeah, feel true power.
Feel true power.
I like that.
No, as a tagline, it's cool. It's cool, and I actually do like the ads. It's like the person's getting high on drugs, like the eyes dilate, the skin, you know.
I was surprised about that eye dilating thing. I thought that was pretty edgy for Xbox.
You thought so?
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, he's shooting up.
So it's like, okay, so they're going hard. I did have a couple people message me saying they're disappointed they didn't show any gameplay. Of course, I replied back saying, well, I mean, it's just a teaser for the show. The games will be at the show. This is just to get people hyped up for it, right?
I kind of like that it was all live action scenes as well. That's usually a Sony thing, where they do the ads that are live action. Have you noticed that? Sony usually
well, they used to. They really did towards the end of last gen and this gen, do the live action stuff. But yeah, I mean, I like the feel true power thing that goes with the whole true 4K stuff they're trying to push. And it's getting me a little more excited. Like I wasn't really excited for it, but now like the child in me, like the kid, is like, yes, E3's coming. Microsoft is teasing. It's got some good ads. Like, oh man, I'm feeling good. I can't wait to see this stuff. But as people do on the internet, nothing is safe. Every frame is analyzed and looked at. So one of the ads that features a Ferris wheel, if you freeze frame it at a certain point on the tent, it is written 6 greater than 4. Now, it is in there for like a split second. It's obviously intentional. And my first thought when I saw it is like, oh, we console war now, baby. We console war.
It's on, baby.
Oh, man. I think Aaron Greenberg is running that ad. It's like he's in charge of that because that's like something he would do. 6 greater than 4. So for anybody that doesn't know, Xbox Scorpio's T-flops sits at 6, and the PS4's T-flops sits at 4.2. So, the whole 6 is greater than 4 thing, I thought was absolutely hilarious.
Everyone's spamming it up in chat. 6 is greater than 4.
6 is greater than 4. 6 is greater than 4. And
let's see that spam, guys. Give us some more 6 greater than 4 spam. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty funny dig. Like Sony did the whole, this is how you use a used game on PlayStation 4. That was an amazing piece of marketing that Sony did. Amazing, reactive, really captured the mood of social media and stuff. And that Microsoft they've been sore about that video.
Uh-oh, I think Jez might have crashed again. Stupid Google Hangouts. Oh, nope, he's back.
Dude, we need to get off Hangouts. This is just garbage, man.
I think it's just your internet.
It's nothing wrong with my internet. It's permanently connected. It's just Google. Everything that Google makes is bad. I hope Google never makes a console because it'd be like the Ouya, but worse.
Right.
Anyway, where was I?
You were talking about how Xbox was being sore, that basically Adam Boyes and Shuhei Yoshida kicked them in the dick.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because that's what that was. I mean, that was a dick kick. So go ahead, keep on going.
It's just So it's nice that Xbox has a legitimate thing that they can point at now and say, look, we're better than PlayStation at this, and the 6 teraflops and stuff. But and it shows a bit of confidence as well, because if they start gloating now about 6 greater than 4, and they don't bring the evidence at E3, then they know that they'll get crucified. So I say it shows a bit of confidence as well, which is encouraging and stuff. And it's a fun little dig. We'll see how PlayStation responds to all of this stuff at E3. They've already confirmed that Death Stranding's not going to be there, which I'm surprised about.
I figured it wasn't going to be there, because I kind of thought 2019 is that game. Like, they got their little thing last year where Kojima came on stage. I'm like, they're going to skip 2017 and they'll come out and show it next year for release in 2019. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Death Stranding is a Zelda type situation where it's a PS5 game and a PS4 game.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Kojima knows the value there.
Thing look like Last of Us 2, I feel, is also a 2019 game. But man, 6 is greater than 4. Like, look, I love competition between companies. We get better things from it. So I would love to see Microsoft be more competitive in the market, sell more Xboxes, and have PlayStation fans demand better PlayStation. So PlayStation does cool stuff that Microsoft has to respond to, and then we all win as gamers. That's like the best thing about it, is like we all win as gamers. So yeah, I mean, you could say it's console war, right? I mean, that's exactly 6 is greater than 4. I mean, unless of course it's a mistake and it wasn't supposed to be there. But come on, right?
Come on, there's no way that was a mistake. There is no way. Albert Pinello was sort of laughing about it on Twitter as well, and yeah, it was funny. It shows confidence. That's my main takeaway. It shows a bit of confidence in the fight. But they really need they just need to bring the the trash talking's fine, but you have to bring the muscle at E3, and it looks like that they will. I think it's going to be exciting, man. I think it's going to be cool.
It is going to be very exciting. Now, the absolute other bit that we do need to talk about is in the other ad where it was a crowd. There was some markings, right? So people enlarged it, and it said X10S 1013-17, or there's a dash in there somewhere, like in between the 3 and the 1 or whatever, or the 1 and the 7. So it could mean a bunch of different things. Now, if you put that in, before people started doing articles and stuff about that, if you put that string of images or string of numbers and stuff into Google, it spat out an image that said, build this robot for under $400. Right?
Ooh, $400.
Ooh, could it?
I said in my article it would be $399, and so many people said I was wrong. So many people. And I had people coming into my Twitter feed attacking me. I had major journalists attacking me. And if it comes out it's $399, I'm gonna be so happy, because I'll be like, yes, I was right. I do know what I'm talking about sometimes. But yeah, I'd be so happy if it's $399, because I think that's a really good price for a 4K DVR, game DVR, a 4K media center, and a 4K games machine with 6 teraflops of computational power. That's an amazing price point, I think. And I think it's one people hoped for, but honestly didn't expect. Most people seem to say $449, when you ask. But if it's $399, that's so aggressive and amazing. And I will literally, I'll buy 2 of them. If it's $399, I'll buy 2 of them, man. No, even joking. I'll buy one for upstairs and one for downstairs.
Yeah. So there's also so there's a couple different things. Now that is an interesting thing. You put those strings into Google image search and you get that. Now, when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, that can't be a coincidence. That has to be the price. And honestly, I know people will say, well, Rand, then Phil's been lying this whole time. He said it's a premium console. But like, I never understood.
For most people.
Yeah, well, premium I always thought was like the best version of something, not necessarily like a premium price. Like they referred to the PS4 Pro, Sony did when they were talking about it as the premium system because it is. It's the best version of the PlayStation. So I never because I see people saying, well, if it is $400, that means they lied about it being or premium or whatever. But it doesn't really matter. Like it's going to do exactly what they said. They're probably taking a loss on the system, which is great. Uh, but yeah, like $400 would be a very, very competitive price point. It would show that.
It'd be amazing.
Well,
It'd be mind-blowing.
this is the thing. So the reason I've been thinking it's 400 the whole time is because Microsoft themselves and Phil personally went on stage in E3 2013 and announced $500, and you could hear a pin drop. Like, and he shuffled back to Sage, and I think he probably felt bad. Nobody clapped because why would anybody clap for a $500 console? Nobody would. And I think they know that, and I think they know that in this day and age, like even if you say you're not competing with Sony and things like that, it doesn't matter. Everything is competing for your time and your money. Scorpio is competing with the Switch. Scorpio is competing with the PlayStation, and it needs to be priced appropriately along with it. So if Scorpio was priced at $500 and the PS4 Pro was $350, which we know Sony is going to start dropping the price on the Pro, like $150 is way too much of a gap for anything to overcome. Like Scorpio at that point is only really going to be selling to the hardcore. But at $400, now that value comparison for the people that really want to get the best multi-plans, it's like, wow, like why would I get the PlayStation 4 Pro? I can just get the Scorpio. And I know people would say in the comments and otherwise, well, PlayStation's got the exclusives, and they currently do. And I'm going to enjoy all of them. But the thing is, if you're on the market for a console right now, you're probably not too interested in the exclusives of the consoles itself. Because if you were, you probably already would have the system. See, I have like PS4 Pro and Xbox Scorpio are like upgrade machines. It's designed to get the current user base to then rebuy it and upgrade themselves. But those systems aren't really going to be selling to the person who's looking to buy a $200 system. They're not going to be like, well, suddenly I need to spend $200 more. However, it does get people on the fence, the people that want the best version of multi-platforms, like Star Wars Battlefront and Red Dead Redemption. There are quite a lot of those people. And that price point, I think it can be very competitive with Sony, and that's what we want. We want competition, so everything can get better and cheaper, and they fight for our money. That's amazing. Now, the other thing, if it's not the price, which it very well may not be like a price thing, is the date. And we've speculated on the date before. We both think that I've always thought it was going to be late October because it made sense from my perspective that since this is they've touted as the best place to play third-party games, that you need to get the system out there before those third-party games comes out. And you have Star Wars Battlefront coming out in November. You got Call of Duty coming out in November. You got Need for Speed coming out in November. You got probably a bunch of games coming in October. So I thought it was imperative that Microsoft get that system out before the big games in November so people can make a judgment right then and there. Be like, okay, Scorpio's out now. Digital Foundry can run its comparison articles about what version is best. You can't really do that with Destiny 2. That's an outlier. It's coming out in September. It's a lost cause, right?
Yeah.
But now we have this thing. So the number that we're talking about here, this X10S 101317, people have said that means October 13th, 2017, which is earlier than I thought. But hold on, Jez. Hold on. It gets even better. Because what date did Shadow of Mordor just delay to?
October.
What date? The specific date.
I can't remember this specific date.
October 10th.
Ooh.
October 13th is that Friday. October 10th is a Tuesday. October 13th is a Friday. Microsoft normally always releases their consoles on a Friday.
You know what else is special about October the 13th?
Is it your birthday?
Yes.
What? That would be a great birthday present.
Scorpio on my birthday? That'd just be so cool. Me and Scorpio will share a birthday. How cool would that be?
That'd be great. That'd be amazing.
Maybe they did it
And like
for me. I don't know.
and like we mentioned, this could all be nothing or it could be everything. Like it's obviously that those specific numbers and stuff are there for a reason. The 6 is greater than 4 is there for a reason. These numbers are there for a reason. So I mean, you look at it and it's just like, okay, is that really the release date? October 13th. I think that would be a great release date, honestly, because Shadow of War's that week, and then you have all the rest of the games coming out after that. Scorpio will be out before all the gigantic games, so they can get the Digital Foundry coverage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a great release date. Do you think that's like this is actually giving us the release date? These little cryptic images.
I do.
You think so?
I've been saying for months now that it'd be October because of Redstone 3, which is the Windows 10 update, which is apparently ahead of schedule. I've heard. So Scorpio releasing on October 13th certainly fits in with what I know that developers need to certify against Windows 10 Redstone 3 to publish their games to the Xbox store for Scorpio. So yeah, I think it will be October, even if it's not the 13th. If there's somehow people have got that bit wrong, but I do think it'll be October.
Well, also a lot of people.
It's my birthday.
Well, it's your birthday. So what else am I going to say? There's also people will say, well, something that flies in the face of this is the Scorpio astrological sign, which runs from like October 23rd to November 15th or 16th or something. People are saying like, well, the Scorpio astrological sign, October 13th falls outside of that date, so that can't be true. But we don't really know if Scorpio was meant to give credence to that. Like I know like the purple M that Xbox fans put in their Twitter headers, that was done by a fan. It wasn't really done by Microsoft. Microsoft kind of co-opted that after the fans kind of embraced it. And Phil did say, the Scorpio was coming along better than expected and faster than expected, so maybe they decided to bump up the release date or whatever. I mean, either way, it doesn't really matter what Scorpio was mentioned for. Now, as Fuzzy Belvedere said in chat, and I also saw this as well, it could mean 317, could mean through the 317th day of the year, which is like November 13th, which is also like a Friday or something. So, I mean, there's many different ways you can take this stuff, but I think it's in there for a reason. Or what if Microsoft just put this shit in there so people like us could talk about it and get everybody excited to watch the show?
So are you saying that we're being manipulated by Aaron Greenberg right now?
It's a very possibility. I mean, this is pure marketing, man. Like, you have these little images that are in there for a second. People think they mean more than they think. It gets people talking. It gets the fan base excited. It gets people hyped up. I mean, look how many people are 6 greater than 4 today in the chat. 6 is greater than 4. 6 is greater than 4. It gets people hyped. It gets people excited. It gets people to tune in. So it's possible that none of this stuff has anything to do with anything, and it's just pure marketing manipulation. And if so,
500 viewers, for God's sake, because it's 6 greater than 4.
6 is greater than 4.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting. It's going to be a very, very interesting weekend. When do you leave for E3, by the way?
I leave for E3 on Friday because I'm traveling over from Germany. So I'm staying overnight in Germany at the airport and then flying out early Saturday morning. I land in LA early Saturday afternoon, and I'm going to go and get drunk with my buddy Tim Dog before Sunday.
You're going to get... And there goes Jez. I tell you, man, like, Google Hangouts just does not like Jez. Like, nobody else has these problems but Jez Corden of Windows Central. He just... Google Hangouts just doesn't like him. But yeah, the hype is real. 6 is greater than 4. Are we being manipulated by marketing? Just mean nothing, or do they mean everything? Is it really Scorpio going to be $400? Is the release date October 13th? It gets people talking. It gets people excited. It gets Xbox in the news, and as everybody knows, uh, the press conference is Sunday, so now people are hyped. And of course, they had to have known that this stuff was in there. Jazz, Google Hangouts hate you, dude. They hate you, man.
Google.
Damn you, Google.
God. FaceTime is better than this.
FaceTime. So you're going to be getting drunk with Tim Dog, huh?
Yes, and then I've got interviews every day next week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then a flyback on Friday. I'm interviewing Mike Nichols from Xbox as well. So that should be interesting. And yeah.
So let's talk about E3. Let's talk about some of this stuff. We did our predictions yesterday, but wanted to get a little bit more into it. Like, we didn't really talk about Bethesda's conference or anything like that. So are you excited? Are you going to Bethesda's conference?
Nope. The only conference I'm going to is Xbox's, and that's going to be my focus. I think we're taking a team of 4 to E3, so I think some of the other guys might be hitting some of the other conferences, but Xbox is going to be my sole focus. And then I'm gonna see some indie devs. I'm gonna see Focus Home Interactive to talk about Call of Cthulhu, which I know you're interested in.
Call of Cthulhu,
yeah, they've got a couple of and Vampire as well, and another game. So I'm going to help Focus Home Interactive. I'm also going to see Square Enix. They're announcing a new game, I think. Who else am I seeing? Turtle Beach. I'm seeing loads of headset people this year because Xbox Wireless is now a thing, and I want to check out what Xbox Wireless headsets are coming for Scorpio. So I'm going to be checking out loads of accessories. What else? Oh yeah, and Rebellion, because Rebellion just announced a new 4-player game that looks Left 4 Dead-ish. So I was a big fan of Zombie Army Trilogy, so I'm interested in that. But yeah, everything else I'll have to probably check out the Xbox booth. But I'm kind of lucky because Ubisoft and all the games that I'm interested in are quite near to Xbox this year, so I won't have to walk too far. Thank God.
Yeah, the Xbox has that smaller booth this year, but you know what? There's this thing I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if you saw. Maybe you did, but Xbox is not going to talk about VR this year at all.
Good.
Thank fucking God.
Thank God. Yeah.
Thank God, because I did not want to see people up on stage playing that nonsense. Look,
VR sucks.
I'm all for VR when it gets down to affordable price point with some stuff to play on it. I just don't think E3 is the time to show that stuff off at $400. So I'm glad Microsoft realized that, you know what? We're not doing that. Screw VR. We're going to focus on some other stuff. Like, oh, thank God. I was so worried. That they were going to do that, Jez. You have no idea.
Yeah, I think the thing about Microsoft's VR Play is that it's still in its infancy. It relies on Windows Mixed Reality, which hasn't really proliferated much yet. It relies on the third-party headsets from Dell, HP, Acer, Asus, and all that sort of stuff. So I don't think it's in a position to be shown off yet.
Roby just said, not true, we just changed it to all VR. Come on, Roby! Don't do that to us! Am I going to have to do, like, after the conference, do a Rand's rant about how bad the conference was because it was all in VR? Don't make me do that, Roby. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Guys, follow Roby on Mixer. Roby1Kenobi on Mixer.com. He streams every morning with me, and we play some video games. So that's cool. And also, Roby's the guy you need to beg for Rise 2, I think. Sorry if that's not true, Roby, but it is now.
You just put him on the spot. Oh yeah, by the way, he's the dude that holds the keys to the Rise 2 kingdom. Congratulations.
Maybe Age of Empires as well. I don't know. Basically, Roby's the guy you need to pester for games. Go and follow him on Twitter and pester him.
Roby's not going this year, dude.
Yeah.
I met him last year at the Recore thing. Awesome dude. But
I think I might have met him as well and not realized it.
mm.
Possibly. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
so bad at
how could you
remembering
meet Roby
faces.
and not realize it, dude?
I don't remember anything. My memory's so bad. It's awful, actually. I think I might have like a problem, but my memory's terrible. So we'll have to wait and see
So
if I
no
remember
VR from
anything.
Microsoft, which is freaking awesome. Thank God. I don't want to hear that stuff. You know what? Let's talk about this leak. Do you think
What leak?
Project Uranus is real?
Project
That leak.
Uranus.
You know that leak I'm talking about that hit on
The
Reddit that's going
4chan
around
leak.
in 4chan. Yeah, Project
Now,
Uranus.
I declare Roby's trolling me. I declared that leak fake as soon as I saw it because it missed out a couple of major announcements that I know are coming. So on that basis, I was like, "There's no way this can be real." And a lot of the other information felt like more like guesswork than anything concrete. If because like that Night of Aegis thing leaked before, um, and some of the other stuff had kind of leaked before, and people had just sort of creative people seem to take disparate rumors and sort of combine them and made it look like a load of leaks. So I'm not hugely confident about that. And also, it was posted on 4chan of all places. So, you know,
Yeah,
I think
I mean, if that was the conference though, I gotta admit that'd be a pretty strong conference. I mean,
yeah, it would. It's all the games sounded pretty cool.
well, yeah,
Maybe that guy
it
should become
sounded
a
like
game
a wish
developer.
list. It was just like, by the way, Ninja Gaiden exclusive to Xbox, 4K 60 frames from Team Ninja. It's like, oh, okay. What else? It was
Yeah.
like it was a exclusive game from Capcom, Knights of Aegeus, which, like you said, leaked in February, and the dude copy and pasted the description from that article. Then you had the Obsidian sci-fi RPG that's like Destiny, and it was like said in the thing that was Microsoft's biggest new IP and all this stuff, and it was
Obsidian are laying people off. They're not making a Destiny competitor. So
yeah.
I don't believe that at all. Um, so I think it's all BS, but it'd be nice, you know.
Well, I
Um,
mean, there's some things in there that I know to be true, which kind of made me pause there for a second. That I was like, okay, this is weird. Like this is true and this is true, but
so
like,
which parts are true, Ren?
so like I had heard a while back that Monster Hunter. Remember you called me out on my prediction about Monster Hunter last week of being on Xbox stage.
Maybe.
I had heard that Monster Hunter, whatever the next Monster Hunter is coming to Xbox, as well as PlayStation.
Well,
So
I wouldn't be surprised about that because it's Capcom and multiplats make the most money. But if it was exclusive to Xbox, that'd be a big surprise. Because
no, it's definitely not exclusive. But like when I saw that, I was like, okay, well that's interesting because hell, when I said Monster Hunter 5 on Xbox, people like no, Rand, that's impossible. Monster Hunter's never been it never. I'm like, oh, what? Like, calm down. Like people got
what
their
is
panties
this?
in a twist
What
about
is
Monster Hunter.
what is this fanboy voice that you did? I like it.
I don't know.
It could be a character like Francis for
Oh,
3D Francis.
Francis.
You
But
could be
yeah,
like
people
Raging Rand, a YouTube
Raging
show.
Rand. I just
Yeah,
call that a new show, Raging Rand. But yeah, people got on me for the Monster Hunter thing.
yeah.
They're like, it's not true, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, some of the other stuff there, like, I mean, we all know Crackdown's going to be there and Sea of Thieves.
Yep.
Although the Sea of Thieves things was interesting because it talked about joining another crew to take down a Kraken in some sort of like raid. And
They've already spoken about Krakens. They spoke to me about
true.
Krakens in one of my interviews because
Well,
I love Krakens.
like I think
Krakens
we
are
will
like
see
giants.
a raid like thing for Sea of Thieves. I don't think
We
uh,
better.
so like that when I saw that and I was like interesting, and then he was like State of Decay didn't know much about, and I was like, oh, convenient. Forza, it's Forza,
Obvious.
whatever. And the thing is like the guy they used like the NKTRNL like username because if you remember that guy leaked everything from Microsoft from 2014, their entire press conferences. He leaked Halo Master Chief Collection. He leaked Scalebound. He leaked everything, and he was 100% correct. So
What a
people
jerk.
always what?
What a jerk.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say what a jerk, but I mean, he basically knew what he was talking about. He came in one day, leaked it all back in 2014. So like when he spoke, people listened because he was 100% right. So this leaker is using like, oh, this is the information this dude gave. So it's supposed to be like, pay attention to it because it's going to be true. But like you said, there's stuff in there that uh, that we know is going to be there, like Project Dylan from BioWare. Wasn't mentioned at all, which
That's the first
you know.
I've heard of it, Rand.
What are you talking about? We mentioned it last week.
Oh, okay.
It was in your article too. What do you mean?
Was it? Oh, okay.
I'm positive it was in your article.
Oh,
But either way, you would think for someone who's supposed to know, they would know that Project Dylan is going to be at the show.
And there's
of course, there's no mention of Minecraft, which is like clearly
Minecraft's going to be there.
Going to be there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Leaks. I just wonder if the entire thing is going to leak before the show, because they start doing rehearsals this weekend. That's how it all leaked last year. Was I think some security guard from the Galen Center watched the conference and posted it online or something. So if you're really sensitive about leaks,
but I think didn't they do the rehearsals at Redmond this year for that reason?
Well, they always do the rehearsals at Redmond, but they also do the rehearsals there. At least, unless they changed it, unless they did the rehearsals this year and then they decided not to do them leading up to it. But I still think they're doing rehearsals. But yeah, so if you're worried about spoilers, if you think, I would just kind of not get on the internet starting on Friday.
Quit the whole internet is what Rand is telling you.
Yeah.
Quit the
whole
the
Ninja Gaiden stuff and all that other stuff that we just talked about. The Project he's literally said Project Uranus, Jez. To get Project Uranus.
Isn't it pronounced Uranus?
Uranus?
I pronounce it Uranus, or at least I think that's what people do in the scientific community. They call it Uranus to make it less hilarious. It is Uranus, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Do you want to play? Do you want to play
what?
Project Uranus?
Yes.
Yes. Well, game of the year.
I do want to play. So stay off the internet, folks, if you want to remain spoiler free.
I agree with Johnny. We need Dino Crisis, Soul Calibur, and Parasite Eve. We need all of those games.
Dino Crisis would be great, but it's just I'm gonna try to remain spoiler free, but I know I can't. Like if somebody says like, here are the spoilers for Scorpio, I'm gonna be like, let me see them now.
Yeah,
I need to know, and I'll be like, interesting. So I know you mentioned that you are seeing a game behind closed doors that is your most anticipated.
One of my most anticipated.
Can you share that, or is that still like kind of embargoed NDA information?
I don't think I was given an embargo on it, but I'm not going to say anyway. Because I think it's just cool. But it is a game that has been announced that we haven't heard much of recently. It is a game I'm very excited about, have been for the last couple of years, and I think they're going to show it off in more detail at E3. So that should be fun.
Is it a multiplayer or is it a exclusive game?
It is a exclusive.
Ooh, and we know it ain't a Sony game because you'll melt if you go anywhere near Sony.
Yeah, that is true. I will melt. Unless they have God of War playable at E3, then I will be there straight away. But I don't know.
Well, I did see something today that there's some like 1 hour presentation from the God of War people at Jeff Keighley's like E3 Coliseum thing.
Jeff Keighley?
Yeah, because Jeff Keighley is doing that. He has his own show during E3. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of stuff, but geez, man, like the information overload that is going to happen next week is going to be ridiculous.
It's gonna kill me, probably.
And I wish I was there,
We're
but
gonna
I
do
will.
daily roundups on Windows Central of all the things that get announced. Hopefully, a roundup for each conference. So, like, if you miss anything, you can just click and then get all the headlines in one place, like a big series of tweets. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. So E3 is always crazy. Last year was crazy. This year is a whole new console launch, and it's not the same as the Xbox One S launching, which is like a console revision. This is almost generational, but not generational at the same time. So it's going to be very, very exciting. I do you think, Rand, that there could be some sort of plot twist, maybe?
A plot twist.
You know, like Scorpio might be more than just a box. Like it has some sort of special thing about it. You know, like the Surface devices always have this special thing about it. Because internally at Microsoft recently, they've shifted some of the roles that different people have. So now Panos Panay, who is in charge of Surface, he's now in charge of all devices at Microsoft now. He wasn't before, but now he is. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Scorpio will have a kickstand or something. But there was but someone earlier was talking about keyboard and mouse support for Scorpio. And Phil's always been saying it's on the way, it's on the way, it's on the way. So maybe could we see that get debuted at E3?
It's possible. Like I know. I mean, like you said, they've always talked about it. I mean, do you think that would be like a segment where you think they would honestly show that off stage though, like during the conference, like keyboard and mouse? Like I expect,
huge, man.
I expect like you know how like Mike Ybarra's come out the last couple of years and talked about what the platform team is up to and their strategy for the coming year. Like, do you think they still do that? You think a platform member will come out and talk about their strategy? Because I have a feeling we're going to see a major redesign of the Xbox dashboard this holiday. I think they're going to redesign it.
We will see a major. Yes, we will. And it'll. You might even see elements of it on the Alpha Ring sooner rather than later. Using Microsoft's new Fluent design system. You can check this out after the stream. Just search on YouTube for Fluent design system to see some mock-ups of what Xbox will look like with these new features. But yeah, there is going to be a redesign of the dashboard. You know, using the new design language. There has to be, because it's all of Xbox is tied together and needs to be, you know, consistent design wise. Like right now, everything looks like Windows 10, but after this year, everything will look like Microsoft Fluent design system. So yeah, there is going to be at least a visual redesign of the dashboard.
Oh well, I mean, Microsoft loves to visually redesign their stuff, so I kind of figured that was going to happen. But yeah, so because like I'm wondering like what exactly the platform team's plans are for the next year. A redesign for the dashboard seems key.
I tell you, man, there are some really crazy things going on behind the scenes at Microsoft right now with regards to Windows. They're working on something called C Shell in the minute, right? Which stands for Composable Shell, which basically turns every element of Windows 10 into like a puzzle piece that can be stitched together. So like the Xbox One dashboard will be a piece of C Shell. And in theory, you could run the dashboard on a PC, and you know you could have the Windows 10 shell running on an Xbox, you know, just by slotting that module into the operating system. So there's all sorts of weird stuff that could potentially happen over the next few years. We've seen like APIs for PC increasingly head over to Xbox, and APIs for Xbox increasingly head over to PC. So they're working on something interesting behind the scenes, and it's all called C Shell. Just FYI.
Seashell.
Seashell with a C, not SEA. C, just seashell, as in composable shell. So there is some weird stuff going on behind the scenes. So don't be basically what I'm saying is don't be surprised if the Xbox dashboard gets redesigned or major new features arrive like mouse and keyboard support. There are really weird stuff. There's weird stuff on the horizon.
Weird but awesome stuff, right?
Weird but awesome, yeah.
Weird but awesome. So yeah, like it's gonna be. Do you think we get a new I was gonna say like a new controller, but do you think it's time Elite V2 comes back, a new revision for the Elite? Because I
Yes,
think it's,
I do. Yeah, I agree. I've heard rumors of a new controller actually, and also the original Elite controller has some design problems. The rubberized grips fall off over time. I don't know if you've seen this, but
mine haven't, but I mean I've heard people complain about it. Yeah.
yeah, my grips on my Elite controller have fallen off, and it's a design flaw. Like the adhesive wears away over time, so that is a problem. Um, so I do think that they'll probably do a redesign of the Elite controller and probably remove the rubber bits and just sort of texturize the plastic or something instead. What do you think?
I think we'll get a new controller. I think we'll get Xbox Elite 2. I think that's obviously been planned to happen. I mean, the Elite controller sold extremely well, and there's a market for that. The question is, I know a lot of people ask for a Xbox Elite headset, something that could compete with Astros and Turtle Beaches and Lucids
I
and
don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that because they don't want to buy out the competition with the headset market, because I think the headsets for Xbox is really competitive as it is without Microsoft trying to usurp it. Microsoft make the sort of budget option. I think that's a good place for them to stay, especially since Microsoft are going to be pushing Xbox Wireless this year. You're going to have new headsets from Turtle Beach, new headsets from Lucid Sound that are 100% completely wireless, no dongle, no dock. Well, there'll be a charge dock, I guess, but you won't need any cables whatsoever. Like the Elite, the Turtle Beach 420X Stealth, I think they're called. They have like a little USB dongle right now. You don't need that
hmm
anymore because of Xbox Wireless, the Xbox Wireless API, which is awesome. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the headset stuff because I really, really, really like good headsets. I've got
Well, yeah,
so many headsets. It's
I
stupid.
love my Astro 40s. I use them all the time. I use my HyperXs on my PS4. I need that, man. Like I went like I feel like I'm not really I feel like naked when I game if I don't have like one of those headsets on. It's so
Yeah.
good. But quick detour really fast. Did you see what I just DM'd you about Assassin's Creed?
Oh, what is this? Let's have a look.
Well, like I said, it was outed. I'm looking at this thing from Polygon.
Oh,
Uh,
Polygon. Oh
so it's a
yeah.
picture of the game. It's a Target pre-order card, but for the PS4. Uh, what else we got
Yeah.
here? It's like a pyramid appears behind the game's logo, and the Great Sphinx of Giza, before it was defaced by Ravage of Time, can be seen on the left side, which seems to
Ooh.
confirm reports that Origins will be set in ancient Egypt. The Origins Gold Edition, according to the pre-order card, comes in a steelbook case and includes a bunch of add-on content, of course. So yeah, I mean, look, this has been a thing for a while. We knew Assassin's Creed was due for a return. Pretty sure, 100% sure that Microsoft has the marketing deal for it, and the first time you will see this game is on their stage on Sunday. The question is, does anybody really still care about Assassin's Creed? Because Unity really seemed to like
Kill the
take.
franchise.
I mean, it like almost killed the entire franchise. Um,
Mm,
so
I personally, I got bored of the franchise, and it's not just because of Assassin's Creed itself. It's because all of their games are sort of like that. Um, like they're borrowing mechanics from all their games and sort of mix them all together. Like uh like Ghost Recon, for example. Ghost Recon Wildlands, for example, has that whole exploration thing, unlocking towers thing, collecting everything thing, and then you've got like Far Cry as well has the whole tower unlocking thing and stuff like that. So I'm tired of the Ubisoft formula as a whole, not necessarily Assassin's Creed, but um, hopefully they'll go like hardcore with new mechanics and maybe make it like more of a true stealth game rather than an action game with parkour and climbing. I never really felt like Assassin's Creed was very stealthy. I mean, you don't even need to play it stealth really. You can just run around, counter attack everyone, and win.
Mm.
So I think they could afford to make it a little bit more interesting. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Black Flag was so good with the pirate sailing stuff because that gave it the unique angle that I think the series really needed. But after it sort of lost that element, I was just sort of not that interested in it. I don't know, man.
But what you do know is that 6 is greater than 4, right?
6 is greater than 4, indeed, and we can say with some confidence that, particularly if Microsoft has the marketing deal for Assassin's Creed, that it will look better on Scorpio than PS4 Pro.
Well, that's going to be a challenge. That will be an open world game, whereas some of the other games are, like you've come out and you've been very adamant that Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to be 4K, true 4K, 60 frames on Scorpio.
That's what I've been told by repeatedly reliable sources. These are sources who gave me the other leaks that turned out to be true. So, and also separate sources who are completely unrelated to each other. So I am pretty confident that Battlefront 2 is 4K 60 on Scorpio. That really upset some PC gamers when I said that, by the way. It really upset them.
Why did it upset PC gamer? Like, what's up with that? Why did Star Wars Battlefront 2 running at true 4K native 60 on Scorpio upset the PC master race?
I don't know, man. They just get triggered when a console can run better than their crappy GTX 940 rig, and then they wonder why they can't even hit 1080p on it. PC Master Race has special group of people, but so it was really annoying because some people took me out of context and I said I was saying it was going to run at ultra at 4K 60. I don't know what the graphics quality is going to be like. All I know is that's 4K 60. That's all I know. So maybe we'll see Battlefront this week on Scorpio. Who knows? Who knows?
I doubt we'll see that on Scorpio. That'll be on PlayStation and the PS4 Pro. That game is going to look fucking great regardless because those games always do.
I just dropped my fidget spinner on the floor.
You Xbox fidget spinner? You got one?
I got a green one. I guess that kind of makes it Xbox fidget spinner.
Are you bringing it to E3? You gonna be fidget spinning?
I don't know if I should. There? Maybe it'll probably get confiscated in by the TSA or something.
What's by the TSA? Jeez.
I don't know.
So is there any game that you think we didn't mention last week? There is one game that I wanted to talk about that I think is going to be there that I didn't mention that I should have mentioned because it's going to be a sequel to my favorite game of the year, Ori 2. I think Ori 2 is going to show up at Microsoft stage, and I think it's going to be fucking spectacular, and I'm going to weep man tears because the first game was so good. Is there any game like that for you, Jazz? Do you think like a game that we didn't talk about last week is going to show up at the show?
I don't know. I was saying the other day that I really wanted to see a new Dragon Age, and I tweeted Michael Aidlaw, who works on Dragon Age. Hope to see you guys at E3. I think it's time for a new Dragon Age. And he replied, we won't be at E3. The Dragon Age team won't be at E3, but BioWare will. Take that how you want. So I think that was basically him saying Dragon Age won't be at E3, I guess. Beyond that, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just I just want more single player RPGs. Playing Dragon Age Inquisition again made me realize how few there actually are on that scale, on the scale of sort of The Witcher and Dragon Age Inquisition and stuff like that. I suppose there's like Fallout 4 to play and Skyrim Special Edition, but I want I just want a grand adventure game to play that'll keep me occupied for a long period of time. I think.
Well, I mean, you have Morrowind to play with Roby. What do you?
Yeah, but that's co-op, man. I like single player experiences. I've got slugs in chat says Project Dill game looks hype as fuck, but I don't know how he's seen it. But but
Well, they have released like kind of like artwork for it. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
If hopefully maybe Project Dylan will be that game that I'm looking for, sort of like an open world RPG with good content for solo play, that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Cyberpunk 2077 is the game that I'd really love to see. But
dude, Cyberpunk would be ridiculous, but people would flip their shit if like it appeared at Sony stage. Can you imagine? Like, like if Cyberpunk was just like showed up at Sony's, people would. There are a lot of Xbox fans who, for whatever reason, think like Cyberpunk is marketed with the Xbox or because CD Projekt Red has a good relationship, but like money talks, as they say. So what if people would be upset on that one? Like, oh my God, how could you do this? Type stuff.
Microsoft just doesn't seem to value marketing deals anymore. Like they've let it doesn't feel like it's not like Microsoft can't afford it, is it? They've just let Sony have them. So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't really care. Like, what? And all right, so I've came to this realization ever since I got the PlayStation that now that I have both consoles that I wanted, that it doesn't matter to me what game goes anywhere, because no matter where it goes, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox, I'll still play it. So Spider-Man looks awesome, and it was always one of those things when I had the Xbox, I'm like, man, that game looks so cool. I wish it was on Xbox, and I was always waiting for the price to come out to the PS4, down to like $200. And I was like, all right, but now that I have it, it's like, oh, cool. Now it's like Spider-Man. I'll play Spider-Man, and I'll play God of War. Like awesome. Like it's kind of changed my outlook to a certain degree, where it's like, and where it's like now I can look at these games and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna play this game. Whereas before it's like, man, fuck, it's not coming to Xbox. God, that looks really cool. Oh well, like I'll just play these other games. But now it's just like, yeah, like fuck yeah, like Spider-Man comes out, I'm playing that shit day one. God of War coming out, I'm getting that shit day one. Death Stranding when it comes out in 2 years, yeah, probably. Like, I don't know, like because I haven't been a multi-console owner in forever. Like when I owned the PS2, a GameCube, and Xbox, that was back when, it was like 2000, 2003, 2002, where I wasn't really tied, like I didn't really feel a connection to any of the companies. Like I was a PlayStation, like if I had to describe myself back then, I was a PlayStation fanboy because I adored the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, like some of my favorite games of all time are on those systems. But I still had a GameCube to play like Resident Evil and Metroid Prime and like games like that. And then I had an Xbox because my friends were really into Halo, and there was Knights of the Old Republic because I was a huge Star Wars fan. So it was like, I was like, okay, well, if a game came out, for example, like when Beyond Good and Evil came out, right? Like I couldn't, when I went to go buy it, it wasn't like I couldn't get it on Xbox because it was sold out when I went to the store, and same thing with PlayStation. I was like, all right, well, there's a GameCube version, so I'll just grab the GameCube version. So I was like, it wasn't one of those things where it's like, well, and I can't play the game now because it's not available. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, now it's just like, but I don't just play everything, like it doesn't. If all these games don't come to Xbox, like, like I have the PlayStation sitting right there, and I'll just play Spider-Man on my PlayStation. Like I just played what happened to, or What Remains of Edith Finch, and it was a PlayStation exclusive. I wouldn't have played that game if it didn't come to Xbox, and I just played it because I got a PlayStation, and it's one of my favorite. Like it's my second favorite game this year, and it's like
second to what?
I mean, Rhyme, like, because I adored Rhyme, like Rhyme and
Rhyme.
Rhyme is fucking amazing. Don't you
You
talk
can't even
shit.
kill anything in Rhyme.
I don't. It doesn't kill anything in What Remains of Edith Finch either. So
Can't
whatever.
you?
No,
Oh,
it's like a
terrible.
walking simulator. Like
Terrible game. I'm not playing it
no,
now.
it's not a terrible game. I actually do own Nier Citizen. I actually have Nier. Well, I don't really own it, but
I get sad when a game doesn't have guns, swords, chainsaws, bombs, grenades. There's just something wrong with the game that doesn't have those things.
yeah, you like to chainsaw people, but yeah. So it's like not I played you know What Remains of Edith Finch.
You need to play Nier. Why haven't you played
Yeah.
Nier?
Because I have so many games to play. Like people don't understand. Like I have all these Xbox games I need to play, and I have all these PlayStation games I need to play because one of my buddies is game sharing with me on PlayStation. So I literally have Last of Us, the Uncharted collection, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ratchet and Clank, God of War 3, Neo, Nier Automata, Order 1886, Infamous Second Son, Journey, What Remains of Edith Finch, Soma, Amnesia Collection,
Summer Lesson.
Soma?
Summer Lesson.
So what's that? What's Soma Lesson?
Summer Lesson for VR. Don't you know what that is?
No,
My
I
Summer
don't.
Lesson. Oh my god.
I do not.
My Summer Lesson. I think that's what it's called. My Summer Lesson is the best game on PlayStation. And it's available. Summer Lesson VR, yeah. It's a dating
Yeah.
simulator where you help a girl with her summer lessons in virtual reality. Why haven't you got that game?
Oh, I don't. I guess I don't have that game. Summer Lesson. That's like Gopher's like game of the year. So like
Yeah.
I have so many games to play, but the problem is there's so little time to play any of these things. But I will try to get to them. I'm going to finish Last of Us, and then I'm going to start the Uncharted collection because I've always wanted to play Uncharted. But of course, there's still Xbox games. Like a game just came out. I don't know if it's on PlayStation, but it's called The Town of Light. Really looks cool, like interesting indie game. So I'm going to play that. And so yeah, I got. Luckily, there's not a lot of big time games coming out from now until like August, so I do have some time to get some of this stuff done. So yeah, but let's bring it back to E3. Now we talked before that 6 is greater than 4, mathematically proven, and the price of the Scorpio because of that image. Now, while we both would think that $399 would be an absolutely killer price, I do have my doubts though, Jez, and I'll tell you why. Michael Pachter has predicted $399. And if you know Michael Pachter, well, if you know Michael Pachter, whatever he says, the opposite happens.
Well, he said he didn't predict $399. He said if it wasn't $399, it'd be dead on arrival. He said
okay, so
$399. And I think
but the fact that he's saying it has to be $399 means we believe it's going to be $499 because he's always the opposite. I know it's a meme. I know it's like a gaff meme, but like most of the time when he says something, the opposite turns out to be true. So now I'm like, oh my god, could Microsoft be that dumb and price this thing at $500? Just counsel me, like tell me I'm.
Well, it says under $400, so maybe it's $349. Maybe it's $299.
Maybe $299.
Can you imagine if it was $299? Can you imagine?
Come on, Jazz. That would be what, and they just like phased out the Xbox One S or whatever.
Yeah. What if, man? What if it was $199? Can you imagine? No, I'm just being silly now. But they could do a discless SKU without the controller.
No, they still need this. I mean, I probably would maybe get it too, especially if it was cheaper. But like, GameStop's not going to sell that, and still GameStop sells a lot of their consoles.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So I mean, like,
they could sell it direct from the Microsoft store. I'd buy that.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
GameStop's done, man. It's dying. They need to accept their fate.
Yeah, I don't know. There's much they can do about any of that stuff, but guys, put some questions in chat for me and Jez to answer because we're gonna be getting to them so soon. So think about some questions and we will answer them. Now, Jez, I mentioned to you this in DM the other day. Sony, they've been talking about sales a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
They called Europe, your neck of the woods, Fortress PlayStation, and they
I
said
think that's fair show, yeah.
they have a 3-1 lead there. And then they mentioned in the U.S. that console gaming is doing great, and when you compare Xbox, combine Xbox and PlayStation, it's doing better than ever, and that they were happy to see that in the U.S. PlayStation was winning 2-1, which a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, PlayStation is winning 2-1," but not really. Um,
Units
uh,
sold, maybe, but
no, no, no. So the PlayStation
active
4
users.
has a lead over Xbox right around 2.2 million. Uh, Even though Microsoft made up some ground last year with the Xbox One S, it's been completely negated. The PlayStation 4 has basically outsold the Xbox One 2-1 most of the year,
Yeah.
which is why he can say it's winning. Now, yeah, we can talk about sales. You're the sales leader, brag about it all you want, whatever. Um, they also came out and they said that there's going to be like 90 seconds of talking at their press conference, and they're just going to let the games do the talking. And we talked about this on TXR, and a couple people weren't a fan of that idea. And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
90
Like,
seconds of talking?
that's what they said. Like, because last year's press conference was pretty much fucking game, 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 game. There was hardly any talking for the most part, especially when you compare it to Xboxes. So, um, uh, so basically, yeah, they're gonna. He says they're gonna be like 90 seconds of talking, and it's just gonna be wall to wall games. And some people on TXR were like, "No, that's bad." I'm like, I just want to see games like from Xbox. I'm gonna get Scorpio regardless. I would love for Microsoft to just roll a conference of just wall to wall games, wouldn't you? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think I think it would be cool. Um, it, I think one of the things they've always stumbled on, and they still do this now in their other conferences, like their Windows and Service conferences. They they try to they oversell things that aren't that cool, and I think if they just let the game speak for themselves, people can decide whether they're good or not. Um, so yeah.
All right, well, I see some questions for you. Someone wants to know if I think you already answered this, but Big Daddy Tomcat says, "Does Battlefront use 4K textures?"
I don't know. I don't know if it uses 4K textures. I've just been told 4K resolution, 60 frames per second. That's what it's being tested at on right now on Scorpio Dev Kit. Um, and also, I was told it's being tested in the lab with mid to high range high settings PCs because everyone was like, "Oh my god, it won't run ultra settings on Scorpio, blah blah." So I asked the question of the source, and he said it was being tested against. It's being tested in the lab where they test mid to high range PCs. Um, so mid to high range gaming PCs, that is. So I think you can expect it to look pretty damn nice. It's never going to look as nice as your GTX 1080 Ti and SLI, with 32 gig of RAM or more. It's never going to look. It's never going to look as good as it does on a high end rig. But for $399, I think people are
Yeah.
going to be pretty pleased with the results.
So Cypress Smurf wants to know if you'll eat any tacos at E3.
That's the plan. That is the plan, to eat
Have
some
you
tacos.
have you never eaten some tacos?
I've never eaten a taco in my life.
Oh my God. Oh,
There's not Mexican food's not really a big deal in England that I'm aware of. Anyway, at least not up north where I am. We mostly junk food.
hmm,
Um, is taco junk food technically? I don't know.
hmm.
I don't
All
know.
right. Uh, Gunny FPS says, "What do you think about Splinter Cell at E3?" We talked about that a little bit ago, but I think me and Jez are expecting it at Ubisoft show, and I, for one, cannot wait to see the return of Sam Fisher. But that's just me. Gunny also says, "What is better, 6 or 4?" Well,
6 or 4. I'm gonna go with 6.
6 is
So
better than 4, of course.
six is better than 4. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard from a credible source. My maths teacher. She was
Uh,
horrible.
Seto Kabia wants to know if there's a game on PS4 you like, Jez, except for Summer Lesson.
Well, I replied in the chat that I haven't played
Oh,
any
okay.
PS4 games. I don't have a PS4. Um, I actually play Sniper Elite 4 on a PS4, but that's it. That's the only game I play.
Darius Digg says, how many games do you believe will be new IPs at Xbox's press conference? Well, that's interesting. So, are we talking new IPs in general or new IPs from Microsoft? Because if it's new IPs from Microsoft, I'm going to say there will be one new IP minimum, and then they'll at least show from third parties. Obviously, Project Dylan, so that would be two. That'd be two. Um, what about you, Jez? How many do you think?
No IPs from Microsoft. Honestly, don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm hoping, like you, two is what I probably expect. I would hope more though. Honestly, like 2 to 4. I would. I think Microsoft are aware that they're getting killed on the games narrative right now. Um, but they've also come out and said that they don't want to announce games early because of what happened with Scalebound and get people hyped and spend all this money on marketing and stuff, only for it to fail or get
Mm-hmm.
cancelled. So they could play it safe, or they could, really push hard and let us know what the roadmap is. I'd like to see Microsoft, be aggressive on the IP. We'll just have to wait and see. It's hard to speculate without information.
Right. Samuel Tolbert, our buddy, or my buddy. I don't know if you know Sam, but I know Sam. He's a good dude.
Yeah, sounds good, dude.
What's up with the lack of leaks? Are things actually locked down now? Well, I mean, it's very well possible that fucking 4chan leak could be true, which the answer then would be no. Obviously, it wasn't locked down. Jez has leaked some stuff, so there is some leakage.
I haven't leaked anything. What are you talking about?
But to be fair, they rehearsed at Redmond, so it didn't really leak last year until that weekend when people watched them rehearse at the Galen Center. So if it's going to leak, it's going to leak relatively soon because I believe they start rehearsing again Saturday. Friday or Saturday they start rehearsals again. What else we got here? David Oliver wants to know: do you think Crackdown 3 will be one of the surprises of E3 in terms of, oh, this looks so much better than what I imagined? I think so. I'm really excited for Crackdown 3. I made that video a couple days ago, where I think it has the most potential to be, maybe, lack of a better term, like an ace in the hole, something that is truly unique on the marketplace. This idea of a multiplayer where you can get in there with your friends and just destroy everything sounds pretty intriguing to me. Now, obviously, we need to see what it's like in actuality, but I think out of the four games from Xbox that we know are going to be there, like Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, Crackdown 3, and Forza Motorsport 7, I think that one has the most potential. But Jez, what do you think about it?
Like Crackdown, I don't know, man. I mean, it's been a long time since we saw Crackdown in action, right? Pretty
Yeah.
much. I think Crackdown is a weird case because it's got to show off the power of Scorpio and show off the mythical power of the cloud compute, which Microsoft really pushed quite hard in the early days, but not so much now. So it has a lot to prove. Can it be more than just a pre-tech demo? Is it actually going to be a really compelling game, or is it just going to be an advertisement for cloud computing? I think obviously that's a really cynical way of looking at it, but I'm intrigued. But I'm intrigued by the game, especially because I haven't played the previous Crackdowns, and Crackdown doesn't really look like a game I would typically be into. But if the building destruction stuff is as good as it seems like it's going to be, that's definitely the unique thing that'll push me over to getting it, even though it's not really my genre usually.
Mm.
So yeah, Crackdown is intriguing.
It is very intriguing. It is very intriguing. And um, what else we got here? More questions. People want to know stuff. Hey guys, suppose this is from Will SCZ. Hey guys, supposedly Microsoft is sitting on a recorded definitive edition and HDR update until E3. Do you guys think this was wise considering how dry it's been for exclusive? Chances of it coming to Steam? I mean, if the definitive edition and the HDR update wasn't ready until Scorpio, then just wasn't ready. Yeah, and it's been a bad year for Xbox exclusives. Like, there's no, the damage controlling that. It's been a bad year, but I don't really think a Record Definitive Edition would have helped that any, considering it was a game that came out last year, anyways.
Mm.
Chances of it coming to Steam, I don't think it will. What do you think it will, Jez?
I think it's a distinct possibility for Record to come to Steam, actually. Since we've seen Halo Wars Definitive Editions come to Steam, I've heard very credible rumors that Halo Wars 2 is going to come to Steam because that's where the RTS players are. If they're seeing success with Steam just because of the bigger audience, I imagine Record probably could find its way over to Steam to try and find an audience, because Recall as an IP, yeah, the game didn't have as much depth as people would have liked, especially, I would have liked. They really sold me on the whole Metroidvania concept, and in the full game, it didn't really materialize in the way that I would have liked. Even though I did enjoy it overall and thought it had a fair price point, I did forgive it a bit for having like a lower price point. I sort of took it as an indie game in that sort of sense. But there is something about the IP that's really compelling, like the world, the characters, the little robots and stuff like that. So maybe if they put it on Steam, they'd open up to a potentially new audience and maybe find a following the game needs to deserve a big budget sequel, And I do think they should at least consider bringing Recall to Steam. That at a very, very competitive price point, just to see if the IP's got any legs. So yeah, I think it could come to Steam. I think Recall really could come to Steam.
Nick the Geek says, "Do you think Sony knows more details about Scorpio than us, or do they have to wait in fear?" I'm sure Sony knows exactly what Scorpio is.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Because they do.
Game developers know what Scorpio is, and they probably share information with Sony, and I'm sure they share information with Xbox as well about.
I mean, they use AMD and stuff like that, so I'm sure they exactly know what Scorpio is. Are they fearful? I doubt it.
No, I think Sony they're very comfortable where they are right now. Sony are in a very, very strong position, and I think Microsoft have to appreciate that they do have a battle. Microsoft might be happy with the way Xbox is right now as a profitable entity, ticking over, sort of very satisfied existing customers. But if they want to grow, they really need to take a look at what Sony are doing with the quality of their first party IP, and really, get more serious about building games. Recore deserved to be fleshed out, like Jeremy C says in the chat. Recore was a cool concept, just not fleshed out. Recore deserved to be fleshed out. Sony would have fleshed that out. And that's how I feel. That's my perception of Sony, is that they would have given that IP the attention and time it needs to become something more than just a summer interim game while people wait for the big heavy hitters. I think Record deserved more love, and so who knows, man.
Right. Free Jack 4K says, "Will we get Cuphead as an E3 gift?" I think so. I think Cuphead will be one of those "it's available today" announcements. Honestly, they said mid 2017. It's mid 2017. I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think that could happen.
Sir Saxon says, "Do you think Sony will show another pointless brass band?" I assume you mean the orchestra. Maybe. I don't know if they do it 2 years in a row though. But hey, it wasn't a live orchestra, so it probably won't be live again. What else we got? Is Microsoft trying to be more like Steam or more like Nintendo?
God, I don't know. I think
That's a weird.
Microsoft are walking their own path right now because they've got this. Microsoft are in this weird position where they have to bring all of their services into one ecosystem under UWP, and it's to save Windows, because Windows is becoming less relevant by the day.
Yeah.
As a computing solution. Yes, Windows will always be around, especially for gaming computers and stuff like that. But as gaming becomes the central reason for Windows' existence, um, because Android and iOS are killing Windows very slowly, especially as a computing solution. So Microsoft are focusing more on the gaming stuff, and Windows is a big part of that. So to say they're becoming more like Steam, I think is inaccurate because Steam are just sort of. I mean, I don't know if you saw the news today, but Steam lost like one of its last writers,
Yeah.
last video game writers. Steam have become this pure retail giant now. Steam have a total monopoly, and they don't need exclusive games to sell their platform anymore. Like you needed to download Steam to play Half-Life 2. But now everyone just adores Steam because of what Steam gives them in terms of sales, and people are really, really locked into that ecosystem. Steam just doesn't give a damn. Whereas
Hmm.
Microsoft are also looking to become this sort of platform where they're locking people in, whether it's through app purchases, game purchases, 4K movie purchases, or music purchases, and that sort of thing. But so I think all the companies want to become platforms. I think really that's what it's all going to be all about in the future. Um, for Nintendo just sort of Nintendo are a wild card, right? They always sort of do their own thing. They don't really follow the crowd. Um, they come up with these wacky concepts, and then somehow they either work really well or don't work at all, and they use their IP and their quality games to push the hardware. Whereas Sony and Microsoft are sort of competing at the same level, where they both want to have this platform and stuff. Sony aren't ignorant of the fact that people use consoles for more than games now. That's why they signed an exclusive deal to get Spotify onto PS4, and we still don't have Spotify on Xbox One, and maybe we won't ever get it.
Hmm.
Um, so who's following who is the question, really. I
I don't
think
know.
everyone's sort of racing to this platform, so this service model. I think Sony have tipped their toes into the water with PlayStation Now, and services like PlayStation Now and Game Pass probably are the future, but we're a long way away from that in terms of internet speed. So I don't know. I think the next 10 years in tech is going to be very interesting across the board. It's hard to say what Microsoft's long-term vision is for the future of gaming, but you can say with confidence that Microsoft is fully invested with Xbox, and Xbox isn't going anywhere.
That's right. And we're going to end on this question from Paul Smith. Rand, how big is your head now after you showed up on an Xbox ad, you pony?
How big is your
Uh,
head?
oh, it's super huge. Didn't you hear
Hang
my
on.
ego is
We've both been on the
uncontainable?
dashboard now. We've both been on the dashboard.
I know, but like, I was in
I
an
was
ad
also,
for Xbox, though. I was in an ad. And
but
nobody told me I was going to be in the ad, too.
I was on the dashboard as a feature at the bottom
Hmm.
from my Mixer stream.
Well, that's going to be the show, guys. I'm going to miss Jez because Jez is heading out to E3 soon. So probably no Xbox 2 podcast next week because Jez will be at E3 getting all those infos for everybody. So we're taking a week off. Of course, I'll still be doing live reaction shows and videos all throughout the week. So stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't. I mean, if you haven't, why haven't you? Right? Pretty much.
Mhm.
Um, what are you doing the rest of the week, Jez? What's on your agenda?
The rest of my week is planning my trip. I've got a couple of articles to write. and hopefully I'm gonna sleep. I'm just so tired right now. That's about it.
You sleep. I will not be at E3 this year, so I will not be there. However, I will be live streaming my reactions, as I just said. So if you guys follow the channel, follow me on Twitter, so you know all that stuff. Hit that bell for notifications, so you know I'm going to be doing a lot of content for E3 week. There's going to be a lot of new stuff, so you can always get my reactions. You can follow Jez. Link is in the description for his Twitter, because he loves his Twitter. That's his persona. Why would anybody block him on Twitter? I don't know, but people do.
Oh.
Jez's Twitter. Jez would love you as a follower on Twitter, where you can interact with him more. Thanks to everybody that watched the show. I think we got almost up to 500, which is awesome.
500.
Yeah, 500. We were almost there.
That's serious, man. That's
I know.
serious.
But so in 2 weeks, Jez will be back, and we'll be talking about everything that he saw at E3, everything that he played and stuff, which should be an awesome, awesome time. Can't wait to have that conversation with him. But until then, guys, we are out. Have a good week.
Take care, all.